Picture the scene, you're on the banks of Loch Ness up in Scotland there. It's a wonderful sunset and you're taking some beautiful landscape photos when, out the corner of your eye, you spot the elusive Bigfoot. He's there on holiday getting some photos of his own, and you think to yourself, this would be great, I could capture this on video and I'd be able to make myself a fortune selling this footage and finally prove that the Bigfoot is real. So you jump onto your camera and after pressing a few buttons, you're in the video mode, ready to shoot, when what happens? But Bigfoot is beamed up by a UFO and disappears off into the sky. You're left frustrated and with nothing more than a tall tale to tell down the pub. Most Canon EOS R owners know that if you press this button up here, then the camera will just start shooting video instantly. This can be a great time saver and save you a lot of embarrassment, but not everybody knows how to set this up properly and where these video settings exactly are coming from. So that's what I'm going to go over in this video. I'm going to explain how to set this function up the correct way and hopefully save you a little bit of time and maybe let you know something that you didn't know before. Oi, what's happening? My name's Chris, aka Snackophagus. I'm a photographer and filmmaker here in England. I've been shooting with the Canon EOS R now for about 2 years, so I know my way around it quite well. Hopefully I'll be able to show you how to set up this video function properly so you can get the most out of this camera. So as you can see, we're in the photo side of the camera at the moment, and across the bottom we have record, record, record with, and then the little C3 and a video camera side settings. So what this means is that when you press that top button, the little record button on the top of the camera, it's looking at the C3 settings, but not on the photo side of the camera, but on the video side. So it's not taking them from the C3P photo side custom settings here that you can see at the moment. It's actually in this side, the video side of things. So you need to press the mode button and then the info button, and you come across and you've got the C3 settings here. That's where all the information for that top button, when you press record, where all the settings are stored on this C3 setting here, C3 movies. So what you want to do is you want to set up the camera how you would like it to be when you press that top record button. So that's literally everything. It's things like C-log, it's picture style, it's aperture, shutter speed, all them things you need to decide what you want them to be like, and you want to set them up. So we'll go through the first things you might want to consider is things like the shooting mode. So do you want the shutter priority or the aperture priority or manual mode? I have mine in manual mode when I'm shooting video. I think it's a bit, you've got a bit more control over the settings, but if you don't know what you're going to be encountering and that's why you're using the record button on the top, then maybe you want to go for aperture priority, or maybe you want to even go for shutter priority, so you can keep a kind of 25 frames a second, 1/50th shutter speed, and then let the camera just take care of everything else. That might be better, but this is all down to you. These are all personal preferences. Other things you might want to consider are in the Q menu. So you've got the autofocus. I've got mine on face tracking because I think it's more likely I'm going to interrupt taking a photo to shoot a video of a person, but the other options are in there. 1-point autofocus, that might be useful, that just anything in front of the camera on that autofocus point comes into focus, and of course you've got all the others there. Next one is the movie recording size. So you've got the 4K, Full HD, HD or 720 HD as it actually is, and then the codecs for them, the All-I or the IPB formats, and you've got the frame rates that you might want to include. Then you've got the audio. I've got my audio on manual mode because I've got a bit more control over it. You might want to have it on auto mode and just let the camera take care of it. Or you might know that you're going to be in a really noisy environment and you want to turn down the audio levels, or the opposite, you're in a really quiet environment like a church or something and you want to up those audio levels to get the best recording possible. Headphone volume, that's self-explanatory, it's probably not going to matter in this. Movie digital IS, so you've got on-off or enable or the higher enabled, the enhanced version. I keep mine just on the enabled, it does a good job. The enhanced one gets a bit weird and a bit warpy, but it's entirely up to you again. and then white balance. I've got mine on auto white balance. I don't know if I'm going to be inside or outside when I want to take the video, but if you shoot all the time outside, then maybe you want to be on the sunlight setting, or if you're going to be shooting in concerts or whatever, then you might want to be on the tungsten setting instead. So you need to consider everything that you want to set up for when you press that top button. When you have done that, press the menu button, and you want to go onto the wrench icon, which we're already on, and over to the number 6 tab, and onto the custom shooting mode C1 to C3. Go into there, register the settings, and then you want to make sure that you're on C3. C3 is the only custom option, custom shooting settings, that the top record button will recognize when you're in the photo mode. So if you put it on C2, you can't change it around and sort it out later. You have to put it on the C3. Press it, OK, and then it will register those settings. Now, the only other thing you want to kind of think about here is the auto update feature. I've got mine disabled. If you have this enabled, what will happen is when you're in the record mode, if you make any changes to your settings while you're in the record mode from pressing that top button, then those settings will stick and carry on for the next time that you press that top button. So if you're dipping back and forward out of photo mode and video mode by only using the record button and the shutter button on the top of the camera, then that could be useful if you know you're going to be doing that. If you want to change your aperture once, you press record, it's too dark, you open up the aperture, and then you go back to photo mode, and then you press record again, then the aperture will be as you have set it on the last time of setting. I don't want that. I keep mine set to disabled. I want mine to always default back to the original settings that I put in today. I don't want it making changes on the fly. Again, that's entirely up to you. You'll know best what sort of conditions and how you want to have your settings set up, and whether you want them to carry forward into the future or not. So there's going to be a level of individuality to how you actually set up these settings. For example, if you're a landscape photographer, you're outside a lot, then you might want to consider having a lower ISO and maybe a aperture or shutter speed that are a bit quicker, because you don't want the image to become overexposed as soon as you switch and press that record button and start recording video. And if you're maybe like an event photographer, or you're shooting, say, concerts or whatever, then you might know that you need to have a higher ISO setting, and that you need to open up the aperture nice and wide to let in as much light as possible. It's all down to the situations that you're going to find yourself in as an individual. I can't make those decisions for you. I can just show you how to actually set it up in your camera, so that you can take advantage of that. Thanks for making it this far in the video. Not many people do. We're starting to get a little bit of momentum on the channel now, around 200 subscribers. So if you like the Canon EOS R, you like this type of video, there's going to be more in the future. So hit that subscribe button, join the gang, join the adventure. We'll have lots of fun together, talking nonsense about Bigfoot, but also a lot about photography, a lot about Canon EOS R, video with the Canon EOS R, all that type of good stuff. So it's up to you. If you want to come along, hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. I've rattled on a bit now. See ya. Ta-ra.